Another guy said, I stood in for my friend who had a car wreck and hadn't been able to stand up for a week. And the Lord told me if I'll stand in for him. So he texted the wife while he was waiting to take communion. Hey, I'm about to take communion and get anointed with oil for your husband, my friend. Pray with me. He called him after service and he's up walking around in no pain.
Hey, welcome back to Oaks Insider, where we're helping people build and drive culture, both for the local church and your everyday lives. Did you just do something funny?
Yeah, I was doing the motions with you.
It was very good. I liked it. I could sense it. Hey, we've had a few questions here recently
about what?
Well, about communion and how it looks a lot different than how we've been doing it in the past, and we're actually like taking the whole service to commune together. What's that about?
Well, first, it's kind of like, as I grow, I call myself the lead follower. So as I grow and I learn things, then it changes in me, and so it changes in how we do things. So it was kind of like before, if I know communion's important, but let's get the little plastic deals, let's do it during worship so we can do it, but it doesn't really take time away from blah, 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 But
it's more of an add-on.
Yeah.
We got to do it.
And I feel so stupid about it because now I'm going, are you kidding? What's happening in our communion services now, even though it's taking like 30, 35 minutes of the service, is that it's bigger than any other things that we're doing that we could preach or we sing or whatever. Those things are important, but man, incredible miracle type stuff are happening in that communion time. And I'm telling you, we are having more people get healed during communion. I've gotten, just from the last communion, 3 people. One says, I came in with a cane and God healed me at the table when they anointed me with oil. I haven't had pain. I walked out carrying my cane. I haven't had the cane all week. Another guy said, I stood in for my friend who had a car wreck and hadn't been able to stand up for a week. And the Lord told me if I'll stand in for him. So he texted the wife while he was waiting to take communion. Hey, I'm about to take communion and get anointed with oil for your husband, my friend. Pray with me. He called him after service and he's up walking around in no pain.
That's crazy.
I mean, we got another one that I got yesterday. This is crazy, that a lady in our church, her mother had a gallbladder surgery, removed it, but a stone had been left in there, they thought, and they couldn't figure out where it is, what's going on, and a wound had not been able to heal because of this. She came up on communion and prayed, God, heal my mother and let that wound close up and be healed. It had been that way for months, right, that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Sunday night, her sister went in to do cleaning at home with her mom, 85 years old, and out dropped a gallstone.
I don't think that happens all the time.
After months.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So she wrote me, she goes, God is doing it. So miracles are happening, healing is happening, because we talk, when we get solidarity with the head, solidarity with each other, healing. If I cut my hand, it just automatically, naturally, supernaturally gets healed. That's what's happening.
Well, that's what Jesus prayed, right before he goes to the cross. He's in the garden, he's praying for himself, he's praying for the 12, but then he also prays for us that we would be in unity as he and the Heavenly Father would be one. That's pretty unified.
Yeah, that's what we're doing in this communion time, where it's not just about the healing, but it's about healing that's going on relationally. So the things that are going on the prayer ministry team, where people are coming up and say, man, I'm having a hard time forgiving. This last time I was praying with a dear lady in our church, godly woman in our church. I went over to her and just told her and said, I just love you so much. You're such a godly woman. She says, not really. I said, and she wasn't joking. There were tears in her. She goes, I'm not really being godly in that I haven't forgiven this person.
Man, that's a big deal.
She goes over, I said, well, do you need to go over and pray? She says, yeah. She goes over and prays before she goes up. And here's a lady who I look to as just an incredible elder in our church. But yet all of us are dealing with pain and dealing with things. And we need this communion time to be hey, remember what I've done, and remember what I'm calling you to, so you'll come into membership. How we talk about the finger being cut off, come in and back as being remembered, connected to the whole.
Well, and there's stuff happening every single week, all the time. Satan's at work, life's at work, so people have even said, well, man, how often are we going to do this? Haven't we kind of gotten it all worked out?
And we're saying, no, we're going to do it every month, because you know what? People got sick between the first communion and the next communion that we wanted to get healed. People got in an argument or issues at work or with family that came up that they didn't see coming. So it's getting resolved. Let me tell you something. There's things happening not just in the room when we're having communion either. There are things happening in the heavenlies. We're taking back territory the enemy has stolen. We're having people come back to the church who have been gone from our church and estranged from our church in like 9 years, 12 years, coming back, crying and saying, I'm back. Good. But how is it that they're back? I'm telling you, it's because of what's happening in communion.
When they're showing up on the communion services.
The enemy that has been holding them back and dividing is being demolished, and there's freedom. So here's what I want to ask you. Next time you're here for communion, man, engage. Engage that even at your seat, and before or after, whatever we give to you. Pray with people around you. Pray with your spouse. Pray with your family. Engage on that. Worship the Lord. Thank Him. What do you want to say to me? But here's the last thing. I wonder what it would look like if you took responsibility of owning your zone in your home as a family and you had communion as a family. Yeah. If you go, well, I don't know how to do it, go to communion.oaks.church. And I actually am there teaching you how to do communion, and even give you the sheet to pray through it and to pray over your family. I wonder what it would be like in our family, the healing that flowed, the unity that was flowing in our families. Then we came together as a corporate body. It'd be amazing. How it'd even be to the next level.
Yeah, God's at work. We're so excited about what He's doing in our communion services. We're going to continue the conversation here at Oaks Insider. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for joining us today for Oaks Insider. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it. Stop right now and do it on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Google Play. Subscribe so you can get this easily every single week. And if you're not following us, at Oaks Church TX, that's for Texas, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, thanks for joining us.